they believed they would meet God. They ended up in a shallow grave outside a coastal town in eastern Kenya, victims of a suspected cult leader.
So you probably heard this being covered by other YouTubers or even on the news, but just out of Kenya, this crazy cult managed to convince several dozen people to starve themselves to death so they could meet God. But keep in mind, while they were starving, he was eating good, really good as a matter of fact. We need to have a serious conversation about these cults and how they're just messing up and manipulating people into doing extremely dangerous stuff or killing themselves. And this isn't the first time that this cult leader has been arrested either. Such a scumbag, and it's obvious he wanted the people to suffer for a very long time if he wanted to make them eat, starve themselves to death. I mean, how could you do such a thing? And I know it will be easy to just blame the victims, but keep in mind, cult leaders are master manipulators. That's literally what it seems like they're born to do, be narcissistic manipulators. And obviously he was a sadist as well, because who in the world would get pleasure from this? I know it's a very taboo subject, especially among, us Americans, especially among American Christians, but you guys got to talk to your friends and family and make sure they know not to be lured in by these type of people, especially if they're looking for a new church or something. And honestly, we need to have a serious conversation about religion in general. Like, your religion is your religion, but when you start forcing people to do just extreme or go the extra mile, that's not okay. Yes, that includes making poor people or people who just cannot afford it, force them to pay 10% of their wages for tithes.
Abbas Ade's wife, son and parents-in-law disappeared, leaving everything behind.
So when I get to search her phone, I see someone has told them they are going to see Jesus. So then I tracked a flight. It only booked a one-way ticket to Malindi, which she should have a return ticket back to Nairobi.
This is the man accused of luring them to Malindi. Paul Mackenzie Nthenge is the leader of the Good News International Church. He apparently promised his followers they would meet their creator if they starved themselves to death.
He was well known in this area. He had been arrested before when 2 children died. There wasn't enough evidence to, keep him behind bars. That's what the court said. So, yes, people are angry that, this has gone this far.
Police believe dozens of victims may be buried in the forest. Several children are among the dead, and there are fears many more could be missing.
We visited homes in villages in the area and we spoke to parents whose children had all died. Some families have lost up to 5 children, and in some cases the parents have died as well.
Some members of the church were rescued from the preacher's property, alive but weak. Relatives at the exhumation site are holding out hope that their missing loved ones have survived.
It's so disheartening and very inhuman to see what is going on here. All the people who have been coming here, I can see none of us have seen our relative, but we are just rescuing more people and seeing more graves.
Mackenzie is now in custody. Pathologists are taking samples from the victims to determine the cause of death.
Honestly, shame on him. Shame on that man for lying. He knew damn well those people did not have to starve themselves in order to be closer to God. And the children victims as well. Like, I know what I said earlier about master manipulator, but as a parent, you need to be on high alert when it comes to people and your kids. You need to take everything with a grain of salt. And now so many children are dead because of this. You as a parent failed them because of this. Like, I understand religion is important, but some of you people take this shit way too far. And no, a fast is not the same thing as starving yourself to death. Honestly, these people are so brainwashed. Take a look at this. This woman in this picture is so brainwashed that she refuses to cooperate. I feel so bad for even showing this on my channel, but see, this is how bad cults can become. Even with all the evidence presented against her, she refuses to eat or get up from her spot. But surprisingly, if you think about it, this isn't the first time that people have done such a thing. As a matter of fact, there's even a Buddhist term for it. Though it's currently outlawed, let's face it, it's probably still widely practiced today. They just hide it up in the mountains so no one can find them. But this is a process that Buddhist monks use to self-mummify themselves because they believe that if they can mummify their body has reached a perfect stage of enlightenment. And it involves a process for over 1,000 days, I think. They eat nothing but what they can forage, and then they spend the rest of their time exercising and meditating. Then the second stage is when they drink some kind of poisonous syrup that makes them, empty stuff out of both ends. And then in the final end, they place themselves in a wooden box and ring a bell every day until they have transcended. And if you think this cult stuff is only abroad, then think again. Remember these two pieces of crap? Remember, they were in a cult that believed their own children were zombies. Or remember this little boy who's currently missing and his parents fled out of the country? His mother worships some kind of death god or something like that. It's all just, I don't know. Can we please use some common sense and critical thinking skills, please?